Have you ever heard of Obadiah, the unknown prophet who announced the fall of an empire? In a time of great upheaval, a simple man was chosen by God to deliver a powerful and urgent message. Obadiah revealed the dark fate of Edom, an arrogant and treacherous kingdom. In this video, we'll tell the fascinating story of the prophet Obadiah, understand his prophetic vision, and see how his message of justice and redemption has resonated throughout the centuries. Get ready for a journey that goes beyond words, bringing lessons in humility, faith, and the certainty that divine justice never fails. If you've ever felt wronged or want to understand more about biblical prophecy, this video is for you. Let's unravel Obadiah's secrets together and find hope and inspiration in his powerful story. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Your interaction helps us know that this content has been a blessing for you. Let's begin our journey with the introduction of Obadiah, a prophet whose story, although brief, carries immense weight. Living in times of great turmoil and conflict, Obadiah received a divine vision that would become the basis of his short book. Picture yourself in ancient Judah, where Obadiah, guided by the voice of God, is tasked with delivering a powerful and urgent message. This vision reveals the fate of Edom, a neighboring kingdom and enemy of Israel, known for its arrogance and betrayal. Obadiah, moved by divine justice, prepares to declare this prophecy. He sees the fall of Edom as an inevitable consequence of their actions against God's people. At this moment, we realize that Obadiah is not just a messenger, but an instrument of divine justice, chosen to deliver a message of warning and condemnation. Imagine the setting of ancient Judah, a place filled with hills and valleys, where stone houses cluster together, and the narrow streets are filled with the sounds of people's daily activities. It is in this environment that we find Obadiah, a simple man with a heart dedicated to God. He is not a king or a warrior, but his mission is of extreme importance. On an ordinary day, while he might be engaged in his daily tasks, Obadiah feels a divine presence. It is as if the world around him becomes silent and he can hear clearly the voice of God calling him. The vision that Obadiah receives is clear and disturbing. He sees the future of Edom, a neighboring kingdom that, despite having blood ties with Israel, being descendants of Esau, brother of Jacob, has always shown hostility and betrayal towards its own kin. Edom, situated in a mountainous and fortified region, considered itself invulnerable, protected by its rocks and alliances. But in Obadiah's vision, he sees Edom's fortifications crumbling, its cities plundered, and its people scattered. The image is vivid and full of detail. The impregnable walls fall, and the land, once secure, is devastated by invaders. Moved by a sense of divine justice, Obadiah knows he must proclaim this message. He understands that Edom's arrogance and betrayal will not go unpunished. The prophet feels the weight of his responsibility. He is not just a messenger, he is a bearer of divine justice. Obadiah knows his words are powerful and need to be spoken, no matter how difficult they may be to hear. Obadiah's decision to obey God's call demonstrates his courage and unwavering faith. He prepares to announce the prophecy, knowing he will face opposition and disbelief, but armed with the certainty that he is acting according to divine will, he moves forward. Obadiah thus becomes an example of faithfulness and courage, showing that even in times of great turmoil and uncertainty, it is possible to be an instrument of divine justice and mercy. His story, though brief, is a powerful reminder that each of us can be called to fulfill an important mission, and that, with faith and determination, we can make a difference in the world around us. The message of Obadiah is clear and relentless. He denounces Edom for its violence and betrayal against Israel, especially during times of vulnerability. Edom, a descendant of Esau, Jacob's brother, is accused of rejoicing over the calamities that befell Judah. Imagine the tension and drama as Obadiah prophesies the total destruction of Edom, describing it in vivid detail. The mountains of Edom, always considered impregnable, would be dismantled, and its inhabitants scattered. Edom's arrogance, which relied on its fortresses and allies, would be its downfall. Obadiah makes it clear that no one can escape divine justice. This is a crucial moment, as Obadiah's prophecy is not only a warning to Edom but a reminder to all peoples about the importance of humility and justice. Obadiah, standing before the people of Judah, raises his voice and begins to pronounce the condemnation of Edom. The words flow with the force of a storm, each phrase charged with divine authority. "Behold, I will make you small among the nations. You shall be greatly despised," he declares, and the people stir, feeling the weight of the message. Obadiah reminds everyone how Edom, instead of helping its Israelite brothers in times of need, took advantage of their misfortune. Instead of extending a hand, Edom joined the invaders and rejoiced in the destruction of Jerusalem. This vile and treacherous behavior is the basis for the condemnation that Obadiah prophesies. The scene shifts to the mountains of Edom, once seen as an impregnable fortress. Obadiah describes with astonishing detail how these mountains will be dismantled. "Though you ascend as high as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down, says the Lord." The images are vivid, the rocks breaking apart, the fortresses crumbling, and the inhabitants, once proud and secure, fleeing in despair. The lands of Edom, always synonymous with security and invincibility, become a symbol of total destruction. Obadiah not only prophesies the physical destruction of Edom, but also its moral and spiritual humiliation. He explains that Edom's arrogance, its reliance on its own strength and alliances, would be its ruin. The trust Edom placed in its fortifications and its diplomatic relations with other nations could not save it from divine justice. "All the men in your confederacy shall force you to the border. The men at peace with you shall deceive you and prevail against you. Those who eat your bread shall lay a trap for you, no one is aware of it." This is a crucial moment in Obadiah's prophecy, as he is not only speaking about Edom, but issuing a warning to all peoples and nations. The message is universal. Divine justice is impartial and inescapable. Arrogance and betrayal will not go unpunished. Obadiah uses Edom's story to illustrate a broader principle of humility and justice. He reminds everyone that true security does not come from military strength or strategic alliances, but from faithfulness and humility before God. As Obadiah concludes his condemnation, the ensuing silence is heavy and reflective. The people are aware that they have heard something profound and true. The message resonates not just as a condemnation of Edom, but as a call to introspection and correction of their own lives. Obadiah, with his powerful and incisive message, makes it clear that no one is above divine justice. This section of Obadiah's story is a stark reminder of the power of prophetic words and the need to live according to the principles of justice and humility established by God. In the midst of Edom's condemnation, Obadiah offers a message of hope to Israel. He prophesies that while Edom will be destroyed, God's people will be restored. Visualize the relief and joy of the Israelites as they hear these words. Obadiah speaks of a time when Mount Zion will be a refuge and a place of holiness, and the exiles of Israel will return to reclaim their land. This promise of redemption is a beacon of hope, ensuring that despite the adversities and judgments they face, a bright future is reserved for God's people. Obadiah's prophecy assures that justice will prevail and that God's faithfulness to his people will never fail. After announcing the severe condemnation of Edom, Obadiah turns to the people of Israel with a message of comfort and renewal. The prophet's words are like a balm to the open wounds of a people who have suffered so much at the hands of their enemies. He declares that Mount Zion, the sacred hill where Jerusalem is situated, will be a safe refuge, a symbol of purity and communion with God. Imagine the faces of the Israelites lighting up with hope, their hearts beating faster at the prospect of a redemptive future. Obadiah not only speaks of a time of peace but of true restoration. He promises that the exiles of Israel, those who were scattered and lived as strangers in foreign lands, will return home. This return will not only be a physical homecoming, but also a spiritual and emotional one. They will reclaim their lands, rebuild their homes, and re-establish their connection with God. Mount Zion, which for so long witnessed pain and destruction, will be transformed into a place of holiness and celebration. Obadiah's promise is clear. God has not abandoned his people and has plans for their prosperity and restoration. For the Israelites, hearing these words is like a ray of sunshine after a long storm. Obadiah describes a future where divine justice prevails, where those who were unjustly treated find redemption, and those who remained faithful will be rewarded. He mentions that lost territories will be recovered, and that God's kingdom will extend beyond Israel's borders, bringing peace and prosperity. Obadiah makes sure to assure the people that God's faithfulness is eternal, and that his promises are infallible. The images painted by Obadiah are vivid and inspiring. He speaks of a time when the vineyards will flourish again, the fields will yield abundant harvests, and families will live in peace and harmony. Each word is filled with meaning and hope, reinforcing the idea that divine justice not only punishes but also redeems. Obadiah's promise is an invitation for the people of Israel to trust in God, even in the darkest hours, knowing that a bright future awaits them. As Obadiah concludes his prophecy, the Israelites feel a renewed sense of purpose and determination. They understand that their journey is not in vain, and that despite the trials, there is a reward waiting for them. Obadiah's message transcends time and space, offering hope not only to the people of Israel, but to all who believe in the justice and faithfulness of God. The prophet's story is a powerful reminder that even in the most difficult moments, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and that redemption is possible for those who remain steadfast in their faith. We conclude our story with a reflection on the lasting impact of Obadiah's prophecy. His message echoes through the centuries, reminding us of the importance of justice, humility, and faith. The fall of Edom happened as foretold, demonstrating the truth and power of the prophetic word. Obadiah, though often forgotten, played a crucial role in biblical history, bringing a message that transcends his time. His legacy is an eternal lesson that divine justice reaches all, and that arrogance and betrayal will never go unpunished. The story of Obadiah is a call for each of us to reflect on our actions and to live in alignment with the divine principles of justice and mercy. When we observe Obadiah's prophecy and its fulfillment, we are reminded of the power of words inspired by God. The destruction of Edom, a historically recorded and proven event, serves as tangible proof that divine justice is inevitable. Edom, which considered itself unshakable in its mountainous fortresses, fell exactly as Obadiah predicted. The cities that once prided themselves on their security were devastated, and their people scattered, confirming the accuracy and seriousness of the prophecy. The impact of Obadiah's message was not limited to his time. Over the centuries, scholars, religious leaders, and believers have looked to the book of Obadiah as a testimony of God's justice. His story is taught as a warning against arrogance and betrayal, and as a reminder that true security and prosperity come from obedience to God and the practice of justice. Obadiah's message remains relevant, challenging us to examine our own lives and how we treat others. Obadiah, though a prophet with a small and often overlooked book, is a powerful figure in the biblical narrative. His courage in delivering a difficult message and his faithfulness in fulfilling his calling inspire us to be faithful in the small and great things that God entrusts to us. He shows us that each of us, no matter how large or small our role may seem, can have a significant impact on the fulfillment of God's purpose. The story of Obadiah also encourages us to trust in God's justice, especially when facing injustices in our own lives. We know through the example of Edom that no one is above divine law and that, in due time, justice will prevail. This gives us hope and helps us persevere, knowing that God sees everything and that He is faithful to correct all injustices. Ultimately, Obadiah's legacy is an invitation to reflection and action. His prophecy calls us to live lives characterized by humility, justice, and faith. It challenges us to avoid arrogance and to trust in God's promises, knowing that He is faithful and just. The story of Obadiah, with its powerful and enduring message, continues to guide and inspire us, reminding us that true greatness comes from obedience to God and the practice of justice and mercy in our daily lives. In this reflection on the prophet Obadiah, we are encouraged to take his message seriously, to learn from Edom's mistakes, and to live in a way that honors God. Obadiah's story is a powerful reminder that, even in the most difficult times, God's justice and mercy never fail. It is a call for each of us to live according to divine principles, knowing that our actions have consequences and that divine justice, although it sometimes seems slow, is always right and just. Write in the comments if you have noticed the details of this story by the Prophet Obadiah, and tell us what you learned from this message. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like, so you help my work spread so that more people can be reached. See you in the next video. God bless you.